Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about your ex will hate this. They will absolutely hate this, okay? So one of the worst things that you could do when your ex breaks up with you is to beg and plead. Because that is really feeding their ego, even if they don't necessarily think of it subconsciously. They don't think of it consciously or subconsciously. If you are chasing them, begging them, trying to reason with them to try and resolve the relationship, that is making them appear the more attractive one, the one that has more value, because they're the one that's being sought after. They're the one that's being chased, essentially. Okay? So that feeds their ego, even if they're not conscious of it, even if they don't even want an ego boost. That's still what's happening. And it's easy to see why as well, because it always feels nice when someone really, really likes you, wants to keep you in their life, and really fights for you. It just feels nice, even though it may not make you want to be with them or to continue being in that person's life. It feels nice to be chased after, and you can get a sense of that. I don't know if you've ever had an experience where someone has really, really fancied you, but you've never fancied them. It still feels kind of like, yeah, still got it. It's sort of like that kind of feeling, you see. But what your ex will hate and really make them question and confused is if you don't do that, is if you don't beg, you don't plead, you don't chase after them. If you just accept the breakup. So they break up with you and you say something like, okay, I want to be with someone that loves me. If you don't love me anymore, you're free to leave. And then you let it go. You may have to say something like, oh, by the way, I'm sorry for when I did this, when I did that. If you did anything that you feel like, oh yeah, I really need to apologize for that. So maybe you had an outburst, or maybe you cheated on them. I don't know what your story is, but there may be some things that you need to own up to and apologize for. So before they leave, you say, by the way, I'm just sorry about this. I'm sorry about that. But I wish you well. And then you let them go. And you go directly into no contact. And you vow to yourself to never contact them again. Okay? So that is the thing that your ex will hate. If you don't chase after them, if you don't beg for them, if you don't try and fight for them in the relationship, just let them go. So obviously that's a lot easier said than done. Okay? And most people, unfortunately, find my work and the work of other coaches here on the internet when they've gone through a breakup and they've already done the wrong things. They've already begged, they've already pleaded, they've already tried to reason with their ex to get them back. And you can see why, because that is the natural thing to do. If you're afraid of losing someone, you want to try and fight for them. You want to try and stop that from happening, because your world is essentially crumbling around you, and you don't want to lose them. When you love someone, of course you don't want to lose them. So it's understandable when people actually do make that mistake to beg and to plead, because it does feel like the natural thing to do. But unfortunately, it's not the best thing to do, especially if you want to try and reattract them back. So if you've already done those kinds of mistakes, which you may have, it's very likely that you have, then what you need to do now is you need to obviously continue to apply the no contact rule. So never contact them again, because if you've begged, if you've pleaded, they already know how you feel about them. They already know that you want to get back with them. They know that because you've tried to do that, right? So you don't need to do any more. You've done everything. You've done everything in your power to try and get them back, if you've already begged and pleaded and tried to get them back, okay, by talking to them. So the next step for you, and the only step the next for you to do, is to do no contact, and never contact them again. They know how you feel. You don't need to keep on repeating yourself. They know how you feel. So it's now time to start the process of moving on totally from them, because that's the next thing that your ex will hate if you have in the past begged, pleaded, tried to stay in their life, tried to make things work. The next thing that they will hate is if you do actually totally move on from them, because they may be thinking, oh yeah, you know what? They'll always still be around. They'll always miss me. They'll always want to get back together with me. I was the best thing that happened to them. Even if they're not consciously aware of it, again, like I said, they may not be thinking, oh yeah, that person's never going to leave, but they may feel on some kind of level like, oh yeah, they've begged, they've pleaded, they've been in contact with me for months or weeks or whatever it may be. They're probably always going to be doing that. They're probably always going to be pining after me. And they may even like it. It may give them that ego boost. They may like the fact that they're sought after, that they're missed, that they're desired, whatever. So the next step then is to move on totally from them. So how do you do this? It's a lot easier said than done. I know that words don't teach. You need to experience these things for yourself. I'm only here as a guide. I can tell you things, but words don't teach. You've got to experience it. You've got to take action and do these things for yourself. Okay? Right. So the first thing that you need to work on is genuinely trying to create a life that makes you happy, that makes you healthy. Because what you don't want to do after a breakup, what you definitely do not want to do after a breakup, write this down. Get some paper, write this down, is you never want to burn the candle at both ends. Because sometimes a lot of times, when someone gets dumped or they've gone through a breakup, they start to act a little bit crazy. And not crazy as in actually insane. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about they overindulge. So they go over the top, shall we say. Maybe that's a better way of putting it rather than crazy. Over the top with eating junk food, drinking, binge watching Netflix. Just everything that you can, maybe everything you can, sometimes people do everything you can think of that is bad for them. And they become really unbalanced. So most of the time they're doing these things that are just making them feel worse and worse and worse about themselves. Like eating junk, drinking crap, watching Netflix all day, just getting lazy, getting fat, spending money on things, like things they don't need. They're just overspending on stuff to try and fill the void. Because that's what they're doing. That's essentially what people do. They're trying to fill that void. They're trying to fill them up. Or they buy a new wardrobe. They change their hair. They can have like a mini midlife crisis and buy a motorcycle. Whatever it may be. Okay? They're trying to fill a void. So, because that person's gone, there's a space, there's a gap in your life that you're trying to fill. So you want to fill it yourself with things that are good for you, that don't burn the candle at both ends. So you got to do things that empower you, because you've got all this free time on your hands now. What are you going to do with it? You could either burn the candle at both ends by doing stuff that's just horrible for you and awful for you, that's destroying your life, destroying your body, or you could do things that empower you, like exercising regularly, eating nutritious food, hanging out with family and friends, finding new friends, diving into your hobbies, things that empower you, hobbies that are good for you. Maybe it could be like, maybe you like to paint, play guitar, anything creative is really nice. Draw, writing. Writing is a good thing to help you process things. Perhaps you go to therapy if you've gone through a really tough time, which I recommend that you do if you feel like you're really struggling. I'm only a guide, okay? I can't give you anything that's a substitute for actual medical advice, okay? So if you're really struggling, please do get some help, please, because I know how it hurts when you break up with someone who you don't want to break up with, or you get dumped by someone you didn't want to get dumped by, or you get rejected by someone you didn't get rejected by. It's awful. You feel horrible about yourself. So you don't want to do that. Okay? You don't want to do things that are going to destroy you. You want to get some help. Okay? So please do seek out some therapy if you're really struggling. But in the meantime as well, also try and do things that empower you. So obviously it's okay to let off some steam. It's okay to have a party with your friends every so often to help let off some steam. So let's say 80% of the time, do things that are healthy for you, that make you feel proud of yourself, that uplift you, that make you feel good and confident. And 20% of the time, you can do things that are unhealthy, or you give yourself some time to mope around and be sad. you know, just having a nice balance. But it shouldn't be 50-50. Most of the time, you should be like 80% of the time, you should be doing things that are actually helping you get better. Okay? So don't burn the candle at both ends. Do things that empower you, that make you feel good about yourself, that make you feel confident. So it could be something like weightlifting, because that really helps, because you can see like the shape of your body changing. You can feel the muscle growing and stuff. That feels really nice. That feels really empowering and makes you feel confident. Obviously, go and get some advice and some help from a person at a gym, a proper personal trainer, you know, so you're not doing things, you're not going to hurt yourself. You don't want to damage yourself when you do anything like weightlifting. But you should know basically which things you can do, which things you can dive in and make you feel more confident. It could be like reading books. Maybe you like to read self-help books. That's something that I like to do. Obviously I'm a coach, so it helps my business to be able to, you know, to read self-help books. But I also really enjoy reading, though. That's my favorite kind of thing to read. Like, I really love reading anything written by Napoleon Hill. I really like that kind of stuff. For some reason, I also like the fact that it's kind of old-timey-wimey. Like, the way he writes is a bit old-timey-wimey. But anyway, I feel really good when I read those books. It empowers me, and also it's positive things that I'm reading, so it's filling my head with positivity and stuff like that. But anyway, you should know what these things are, the things are that empower you. And speaking of books, I actually do now have a book that you can read for free on my website. You don't need to sign up for anything. You don't need to log into my website or anything like that. You can view it for free on the website. So just go to www.christineloveridge.com. There'll be a tab that says the book. Click on that and you can read the book. Okay. If you want a hard copy of it, then all you need to do is go to Amazon. There'll be a link for that on my website and also in the description of this video. So if you'd like to get in touch with me personally and you feel like you need help with a specific situation, then please also head over to the same website, www.christineloveridge.com, and pick which coaching option work is going to be best for you. So I do emergency email, where I will get back to you very, very quickly. And there's also just a normal regular email option where I will get back to you within 7 days. And there's also an option for you to hire me for a month, pretty much. And you can have emails from me for a whole month, every day, apart from Saturday and Sunday. Okay, so thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then again, please go to www.christineloveridge.com, and I shall talk to you again very soon. Goodbye.